the voices that propel us, stories of justice, action, and community. A space where justice meets action and community voices rise. Each episode, we bring you stories from the front lines, changemakers, disruptors, and everyday heroes who are building a more just, equitable, and liberated world. This is more than a podcast. It's a call to listen, learn, and move together. You're just listening to music from the incredibly talented Stephen Kong. You can find him on Spotify and Bandcamp. Today we have with us Janae Washington. As the founder of Rocki Reed LLC, Janae has dedicated her career to creating children's books that celebrate diversity, teach STEM concepts, and empower young readers to see themselves in the pages they turn. Her work bridges education and imagination, ensuring that children of all backgrounds feel seen, heard, and valued. Well, hi, Janae. I'm so excited to have you here today. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Hi,
Hi.
Denise.
It's so exciting to have you on and really honored because you've done so much like wonderful work in regards to like diversity and representation that I think is like really important, especially like with children building like a foundation of, like where they see themselves in their books. Because I know even myself growing up, I didn't really see people who looked like me. So, yeah, I'm just really grateful for your time for here and like for you, like the contributions that you've made onto society just in terms of representation and excited to explore that. So just to start off, what inspired you to start Rocki Reed LLC and how did your own childhood experiences shape your passion for creating diverse children's books?
What inspired me was when I was a little girl, just reading so many books. I loved to read because I always felt like I could vicariously live through other characters. So picking up all the books and seeing animals and talking birds and talking dogs and mystical creatures and white characters, I was just like, wait a minute, but where am I at? Like, where am I in the grand scheme of things? Does my story matter?
Mm-hmm.
Um, am I not important? So, um, seeing that, I was like, well, what I would leave to the next generation is
Yeah.
for them to be able to see themselves outlet like lived out through children's books. So whether that is a fictional character or um somebody dynamic that has a great career, like I just wanted them to be able to see themselves and read about people that looked like them.
Mm.
And ultimately, I feel like, utopia is us all collectively building together. It's not one race versus another race. It's us
Yeah.
as humanity coming together to share our differences and opinions and perspectives and build something amazing. So, what inspired me was the lack of representation and children feeling like they don't matter. Like
Yeah.
I hear a lot about, and I get because, social media is amped up, but you hear a lot about children being depressed
Mm.
and committing suicide. And I'm like, it's a lot of it is because they don't think they're important. They don't think anyone
Yeah.
sees them. They don't think they're loved.
Yeah.
Um, and I know some of that, not all of it, but some of it has to do with the lack of representation. So I wanted to leave the next generation better than my generation was.
That's really beautiful. And did you notice like even like as a young child, like when was it that like moment that clicked for you when you were like, I don't see people who look like me in like books or, media or anything. Like were you really young when you had that realization?
I was probably like 6.
Wow, that's pretty
I
young.
remember
Okay.
in elementary, like being one of maybe, yeah, there was one other girl. So one of two Black people in class. And
Okay.
then us reading books, it was like Curious George or Clifford the
Yeah.
Big Red Dog or Bernstein Bears. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
wait, where do, or why aren't real
Yeah.
people in this? Like, why couldn't they develop real characters? You know what I mean? I was like, this
Right.
is so odd. We're just reading about all these things, but it's not relatable in how we have to exist with each other.
Yeah, no, totally. So was there a moment when you realized that representation in children's literature wasn't just missing, but rather it's something that was needed like right now? Like it was something urgent that needed to be addressed?
Yes. Um, I feel in what? The fact that people try to rewrite history to me means history is
Hmm.
very important in context. When you think about movements or laws or things that are created, you give context to it because it's like, okay, well, why was this law created? What happened?
Yeah,
What built up to make someone say, oh, we need this law or we need this movement or we need to protest? All of the history matters. Like, where, and history tells you how far you've come.
yeah,
Like we can see that we grew as a society because we look at our history like, man, we Black people specifically, we used to be in chains. We're not in chains anymore. What happened between that? So for someone to say, I want to erase history and rewrite it from my perspective, I'm like, that tells you that history is important. And in context, representation, like when we were oppressed or during the civil rights movements, it
yeah.
was because we didn't see each other. We didn't see each other as what, CEOs or executives or owners of a company
Hmm.
or passing generational wealth or in books or on runways or, oh, you're too dark to be a model, you're too
Yeah,
black, like, so all of that, I'm like, obviously, if we don't see each other in books and in media, it's going to be hard for us to believe that we can achieve
yeah.
anything. I remember watching Whoopi Goldberg and Sister Act, and I was like, oh my goodness, she's
I love
so
that movie.
good.
Yeah,
I loved her.
I love that
Like,
movie.
um, uh, and she was in a bunch of movies where like Ghost and I think it's Karina, and I was just like, this lady. But when you
Huh.
think about it, it's like, well, why was she the only person? There were more Black actresses, but it's like they all had a singular period versus us embracing that yes, there are Black actresses and they should be on stage just like their white counterparts.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm like, if I felt that, I know I'm not the only one that felt that. And my first book, when I went out to do book signings and all of that, grandmothers
Hmm.
would come up to me and they'd be like, oh my goodness, like I'm glad you wrote this book because my daughter is having issues, or my granddaughter is having issues with her skin color and her
Wow.
appearance, and she's getting bullied. And so this book like really meant a lot. And I was like, that's crazy. Like in
Yeah.
2020 something or 2017,
Yeah.
like kids are still experiencing um the same experiences from lack of
Yeah.
representation. It's wild.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. And you're making such a big impact on folks. Like, how does that make you feel to like realize that you're making this kind of impact on a young person's life that might stick with them for the rest of their lives?
It makes me feel good. So what? A few years ago, like God brought it back to my memory. Like my senior
Mhm.
project was creating a children's book,
I didn't know that.
which is
Okay, because we
crazy. I
lived in
was
the
like,
same house together. That's
yes.
cool. Wow.
And I remember like a binder, and I was basically recreating Old MacDonald Had a Farm, but um I was like, I forgot that that was my senior
That's so cool.
project. So for me, it was like a full circle experience. It was like, girl, like you've always been this
Wow.
person, like since you were a
That's
kid, like
amazing.
since you were in high school, you've been this person. You're just
Yeah.
coming back to yourself. And
Yeah.
I'm like, it's crazy how that works. So for me, I'm thrilled because I got back to my passion. Like I got
Yeah.
back to what I guess I feel like my purpose is, or one of
Right.
my purposes.
No, that's wonderful. So can you tell us how did you make that leap from an idea to an actual publishing company? And what obstacles did you have to navigate along the way?
So I had a mentor, my mentor, Brenda Daniels from my church. She encouraged me, like she asked me what would I do even if I didn't get paid. And I was like, write books, like write children's books.
Hmm.
And she was like, okay, we'll be more specific. And I was like, well, I would write about my experiences and then I would write um just about minority characters and just experiences so that they could see themselves. And so she helped me to she helped me to a time frame. She's like, "Okay, this
Yeah.
is what we're going to do. And every week we'll meet to see what you've done, like to
Hmm.
see how close you've gotten to the goal." Um and so from there, like within 3 months, I had completed my book. I had found an illustrator and I decided to self-publish. So I went through Ingram Sparks and uploaded my book, and from there it went on Amazon and all the things that
Mhm.
Ingram Sparks is connected with, like Barnes and Nobles and other sites, even Walmart. Um, and that was that. Like it was the level of difficulty for me, it was more so um translating what was in my head to actual picture. So
Hmm.
telling someone this is what I'm thinking and then having them put it on paper as what I see in my head, what I visualize in my head. So that was the only thing that I was like, this was hard. And then formatting the book was hard too, because I was, it was my first time. I didn't know what to do. But luckily, Fiverr has so many people that
Yeah.
have so much
No, I
experience
love
in
Fiverr
different
too.
things. Right.
Yeah.
And so I was able to find someone that could format my book. And my illustrator came from my church. His name is Marco. And yeah, everything just came together. There were a few hard parts, but I managed to get through it.
Okay, that's wonderful. So your books celebrate both diversity as well as teach STEM concepts.
Mhm.
So how do you balance these two goals? So you both like celebrate identity, but you're also like inspiring curiosity about like STEM.
Yes, I also feel like what specifically like Black kids, we're not really encouraged to enjoy STEM. Like we're
Hmm.
encouraged to be creative or be in sports or you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm like, yeah, th those aren't the only positions. And I feel like um if I was encouraged more to enjoy math and to
Hmm.
enjoy science, then I probably would have been a different person overall because as it stands, I was like, I don't like math. I can't stand it. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense to me. However, if it was encouraged or taught differently, I feel like I could have enjoyed it. And
Mm.
then there are so many especially now that we see, like what's going on, AI and everything that's
Mhm.
come about, it's like, yeah, we should have been encouraging our kids to get
Yeah.
involved in math and science, get involved in technology because that's what's going to propel you.
Yeah.
Um, and not to say that those are the only jobs, but I just feel like it's something that's missing. Like I don't see a lot of books encouraging minority kids to get into
Right.
STEM and.
Yeah. No, and I think this is a great way for you to like reach young people too, like through books and sparking that curiosity.
Right,
Yeah, I think that's really cool though that you're making kids like want to learn about this rather it being like, oh, this is just something boring or something, but yeah,
right.
for
Like,
you to
no,
make it something fun for them.
right, right. It's like this could give you a completely different life.
I
Like,
know. I know that's cool. So what do you hope that a child feels when they see themselves reflected in your stories for the first time?
I'm hoping they feel seen, loved, appreciated, encouraged, and
Mhm.
inspired, like inspired that they could do anything in this world. Like if they're not limited to um anything because of their skin color, like they
Yeah.
still matter and they're still, they're still uh significant part of the story of humanity. Like it's not just about, oh, let's color versus color. I'm like,
Hmm.
no, we all have to live here. So we all have to
Yeah.
figure out what our purpose is, how important we are, and just collectively come together and build in that.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that kids feel seen and loved and heard, and they can contribute
Hmm.
from that space. Like, because when you don't feel good about yourself or you're depressed, you can't contribute to the world because
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
focused on having to try to build yourself. But when you feel loved and appreciated and inspired, then you're um able to contribute from love versus
Uh-huh.
from
Yeah. No, that's really cool. So I'd love to hear like your own inspirations. So are there any specific cultural stories, memories, or mentors who help guide how you write and choose the narratives that you publish?
um let's see. I So what inspired me when I was young was Bernstein Bears and
Yes.
Curious George and all of the things. But that was because those, well, and especially Dr. Seuss. I really love
Hmm.
Dr. Seuss. And although I don't create books like that, like rhyming books, I do feel like that's what just inspired my curiosity for reading and writing and all of the things, children's books. Um, what? I also used to read like novels. I'm trying to think. I think it was The Little Princess. I
Uh-huh.
don't remember.
That's
Or no,
funny.
it was The Secret Garden.
I remember that book. I forgot about that. Wasn't there a movie or something too? I don't remember.
Yes.
Yeah. That's cool.
I don't know why I loved that book so much. Like I was like,
Uh-huh.
this is such a great book.
That's
And
cool.
it allowed me to think that I was a princess. I was like, this is
Yeah.
great. So I'm definitely like, I want kids to feel like that. Like, I want them to feel the feeling that I felt when I read that. Like, man, this is so
Yeah.
cool. Like, I feel like I could be a princess. Like,
Yeah.
um, yeah, so I really want them to like adapt to my character and feel like they can do anything. They can explore, they can,
Yeah.
they're unstoppable.
Yeah, that's cool. So, have you ever heard from parents, teachers, or kids about how your books affected them? And are there any stories that stayed with you?
So yes, I
Uh-huh.
hear a lot. I even have videos of kids like reading my book and talking about the character, and saying that they love the character. So that's really
Mhm.
encouraging. And then um, parents saying that, we don't really have a lot of Black children's books. So we're trying to build our arsenal so that our kids can
Mhm.
see that, they exist in the book world and not just in the present, like they can read books that have them
Yeah.
in the book. Um and people like I said, before, the grandmother who said her granddaughter was suffering from self-esteem issues because
Hmm.
she didn't feel like she mattered, or kids at school were teasing her. That's inspiring to me because it's like, okay, well, now you see that you're in a book. Like
Uh-huh. No,
this
that's
person
cool.
is looks like you and they probably share the same experience as you. But they kept going, and
Yeah.
they kept going even in building their peers, that because in my first book, her mother teaches her to love herself. And then she goes to school and she sees her bully being bullied. And then she
Hmm.
tells the bully, "You're fearfully and wonderfully made." And they become
Uh-huh.
friends. And I'm like, so it's not just teaching them that they are loved and are important, but it's also teaching them that they could be nice to somebody that hurt them. Like they
Yeah.
could be encouraging to somebody that hurt them. That it's not, people are not the greatest sometimes,
Yeah.
but we can still love each other. Like we can still say, I'm sorry, I don't know what your
Yeah.
experience was, but I just want to be your friend.
Yeah, no, I love that so much. So, children's literature can quietly but also powerfully shape society, how society sees justice, equity, and possibility. So how do you see that your work is like contributing towards this like larger vision?
I do feel like um what? Because I took a few courses in criminology and um when you think about how uh what your childhood and when I say childhood, I mean like from elementary to the end of high school.
Mhm.
Your childhood shapes who you become in society, like your
Yeah,
contributions to society. And a lot of children, especially when they're impoverished and they're in communities where there's gates and bars and all of these things and a heavy presence of police
yeah,
and predators, it's hard for you to grow up and contribute to society, like you,
yeah.
because you're a product of your environment, essentially. So I feel like if we can encourage them and inspire them at a young age that they can
Mhm.
be anything that they want to be, then that um what it takes the pressure off of them somewhat, not completely, but it takes the pressure off of them saying, no, I'm going to immediately jump into being a criminal or doing drugs or, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like when you can see yourself and you feel encouraged and loved and inspired and seen, then although your environment is shifty, sometimes you can press through.
Yeah.
Um, and so, in the grand scheme of things, I feel like if we get them early enough, if we encourage them early enough when they're adults,
Mhm.
they'll remember that, and that will be their foundation for building their life.
Yeah, no, I love that. And what role do you think that publishers, authors, and educators should play in dismantling stereotypes at an early age?
I do feel like, because when I think about all the things that I learned in elementary, like in some of our teachers, especially the better ones, like they would create scenarios for
Mhm.
us to watch, like in plays and in shows, and
Yeah.
or they would show us a film, and we could take from that what we needed to take from that. So I do feel like authors, publishers, teachers all play a giant role in helping to shape how we see life. Like
Mhm.
even in phys ed, when you're learning about the birds and the bees, it's like, oh,
Uh-huh.
really? Like that's what happened? Okay. And it wasn't, something that was morbid or super showy, but it was enough to let you know like context, okay, this is what it is.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel like when we learned at that age and became adults, it was like, oh, okay, I get it.
Uh-huh.
Um, so we definitely, yeah, we write the stories and we shape the minds of the early adolescents.
No, that's cool. And we touched on this a little briefly already, but so how do you see diversity in children's literature as like a larger social justice issue and not just like an educational issue?
Um, so the thing is, and this is why I self-published, I do feel like there is a gatekeeping aspect, like
Mm.
um, meaning that you can go to these large publishing houses and it's like, well, we don't really want your book. We want Harry Potter
Yeah.
or we want um, something else with white characters. So it's not really just um what the creator. I don't think that there is a lack of Black creators or minority creators that want to create
Hmm.
children's books for a specific group of people. I think um, the problem arises when most of the publishing houses are owned by white people.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we're going to filter what comes in. We want books about white kids. So we
Yeah.
may allow one or two Black authors, but other than that, like we don't really want those books.
Mhm.
And you can think about that with the book ban. The book
Yeah.
ban of certain books, certain DEI or minority
Yeah.
books that they don't want children. Why don't you want us to
I
read?
know.
Like, why do you want us to not care about ourselves or, not have self-esteem because we don't see each other? Why don't you want representation? Like what are you
Yeah.
trying to get at? It's definitely a social justice issue because they know that if a child doesn't feel seen or heard or loved,
Hmm.
more than likely they're going to get into criminality and more than likely they're going to fill
Hmm.
these private prisons that they've built. And
Yeah.
that's to me is what the ultimate goal is.
Yeah. No, I feel like just with the I don't know. I feel like there were like terms that I learned early on that in my career that was like more empowering, even like DEI, learned about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and then
Right.
that like becoming a negative term. But
Right.
I just don't understand that like this whole thing about dismantling DEI and like, but our country is so diverse, how can we get rid of DEI?
Right.
That it just doesn't make sense to me. Like how
And
you would even want to do that.
our country is thriving because we are diverse. When you look at
Right.
other countries that have just very singular, like this is the race, this is what we do, this is who we are, this is a dictator, like they don't thrive. Like, yeah, they
Right.
may have a society of whatever, but they don't thrive. The reason why people want to come to America or want to just explore opportunities in America is because of the freedom. It's because
Yeah.
of the diversity. It's because we can all agree to disagree. We can have different perspectives,
Yeah.
different opinions, and we can still collectively come together and
Right.
build something, even
Yeah.
with our disagreement. And
Yeah.
so for anyone to say, oh, well, no, because that's an unfair. No, it's not unfair. When you look at the top 1%, what is a majority of the race?
Hmm.
That's unfair.
Yeah.
So the fact that we had to tell you, you need to include other
Yeah.
people.
No,
That's
definitely.
unfair. Like that you didn't
Yeah.
naturally think, oh, let's include these people. They're a part of our society. Like let's make
Right.
sure that they're represented at our company. Like the fact that you don't naturally think about that, I think
Yeah.
that's the bigger issue.
Yeah. No, that's why I feel like like people sometimes feel forced because like it's a policy or something, but sometimes I feel like things do need to be like policy and something to be enacted to like get to a like positive place where we want to be. Like to have like a policy on like, oh, let's get more diversity into our staff. I think it like makes people think about things that they just didn't think about before. Because I think that's the thing about privilege. Like people like have those privileges of not having to think about, diversity. Whereas like I feel like people of color, we have to think about it because it impacts us
Yes,
every day. But I feel like, yeah, for like, white folks, maybe they don't have to think about that, and that's a privilege for them.
right. The when I looked at there was a statistic that the last 3 months, Black women were losing jobs and white men were gaining jobs. And I was
Oh,
like, that tells you what's going on. Like that
yeah,
tells you that um even if you're educated, qualified, all of the things that they'll still put somebody else in your position
yeah,
and you've done nothing wrong.
right.
Like I didn't choose my skin color. I didn't wake up and say, "Hey God," or come,
Hmm.
I wasn't born saying I want to be this color. I'm
Yeah,
just this color and it doesn't
yeah,
disqualify me from things because I'm a spec like
yeah.
I watched a podcast and this guy is like, oh, if I was on a airplane with a black pilot, I would be questioning, was he a DEI hire? And I'm just like,
What? Yeah, I've heard
that's
about those kind of things too. That's
so like
ridiculous.
how ignorant of you
Yeah,
that you think that color determines
yeah, right.
someone's brain capacity, like like their
Uh-huh.
capacity to fly a plane. That's something we learn. Just like
Right.
we learn math in elementary. If I didn't learn it, yeah, I wouldn't know it, but it's something that I could be taught,
Yeah.
right? Like so I'm like I don't understand people's logic in things. It's like if you went to the school, you got the degree or
Yeah.
certification, that's what qualifies you.
Yeah, totally.
Some people have no degrees and they just have the job. That's the real DEI hire. Okay.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah, no, it's just like how wealth is inherited and people, yeah, even schools, you see people getting into schools because of
right.
legacy and stuff. Yeah.
I'm like, Paris Hilton, she's a Hilton, so she's going to inherit that. So you're going to tell her, no, you don't deserve it because you don't qualify. No, you're not going to say anything to her. You're just going
Yeah.
to let it be.
Yeah. So have you yourself like personally experienced any like systemic barriers for like publishing the stories that you want to tell?
I would say it's more so financial backing. Like I had to
Oh,
fund
okay.
it all myself. And then
Mm.
when you sell on Amazon or even some of these other platforms, they take 70% of the profit. So it's
Wow.
like you don't, it's like your all of your creative input, all of your creative work, it's all your idea, but you still only get 70%. I
Yeah.
mean, no, you only get 30% of the
Wow,
profit.
really?
Yes.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they take
That's
70%.
ridiculous.
And so for me, it's like, why aren't more, um, especially established publishing houses, why aren't more of them reaching out or accepting Black children's literature or
Mm.
minority children's literature? Like, why is it still, oh, we mostly want to see either fictional characters, created animals or whatever, or white
Mm.
characters? Like, why is it still like that?
Yeah. Oh,
And why
totally.
aren't there any Black publishing houses that are,
Right.
dominant?
Right. Right. So if every child had access to the books that you create, what would the world look like 20 years from now? Just, imagine what a world would look like with like that.
Um, I would say people would be more accepting of each other. Like people would be more harmonious versus trying to compete and I'm against you and you're against me. Like
Yeah.
there's enough money to go around, there's enough food to go, like we're not struggling in those ways. We have like there are people that are trying to create struggles
Hmm.
just so that they can continue to be superior, but there's enough to go around. Like we thrive when we share our differences and we're still able to
Yeah.
build and communicate and love each other and be friendly. Like that's how we thrive. We don't thrive by oppressing groups of people because of their skin color, because we don't like their ideas, or because we don't like what
Mm.
they said to us one day. Like that's not how we grow as a society. We have to grow by bonding and building together.
Yeah.
So to me, like heaven is not one person being like one group of people being let in. It's all of us. It's people in Africa, it's people in Russia, it's people in China, it's people in South America. It's everyone. Like
Yeah.
I don't think God loves one group of people over another group of people.
Yeah.
And if people could only see the world like that, like, no, we're all here together. Like, we all got put in this place together. Let's just get along. Like,
Yeah.
let's just get along. Let's just
Yeah.
live in, like, let's not, have impoverished communities when there are billionaires, trillionaires. Like,
Yeah.
you literally could fund people to have a better quality of life, but
Yeah.
we want the haves and the have-nots. Like, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
No, it blows my mind like how much wealth we have in this country, and we also have homelessness and like food insecurity. It just doesn't make
Right.
sense.
Or
Yeah.
especially kids. Like you have
Yeah.
starving kids,
Yeah.
kids that go to school but can't eat,
Yeah.
kids that have to work. Like I'm like, what are we really saying about ourselves? Are we really the greatest country or do we have improvements? And should we be focusing on improvements instead of getting in other countries' business?
I
Like,
know. No, I
we need
agree.
to fix what we got going on here before we go try to fix somewhere else.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. So, what kind of projects are you most excited about right now at Rocki Reed LLC?
Well, I'm working on a 3D animation channel for my
Ooh,
YouTube, so
okay.
that's coming up. And then I am gonna also be working on more children's books for my series, but
Uh-huh.
now that AI is here and all of these things, these new developments are happening, I am thinking more along the lines of creating an immersive experience for children. So something that they can
Mhm.
interact with and engage with and
Okay.
feel and touch and all the things. So that's what I'm looking forward to, like just an evolution of my character. And then I don't know if you remember Mr. McGruff, but um
I don't remember.
the
No,
Dare Dog,
the dare. Oh, yeah, I think so.
like he used to come to the schools.
Yeah,
So I'm like, I want my character to
that's
go to
cool.
schools and read
Okay,
to the children and
that's
like
cool.
dance and laugh with them. Like
That's awesome.
ultimately, I'm like, that's what I want. Like I want my character to come to life and like to
Yeah,
go and visit schools and
yeah,
encourage them to do their schoolwork and to love math and science. Like
yeah.
ultimately, that's what I see.
That's really cool. I love all those visions that you have.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see like, your character go to schools. That's cool. So what advice would you give to aspiring writers or educators who want to tell stories that change the narrative? Like anything from your own learnings that you like to pass to people?
I would just tell them to do it. Like I feel like a lot of what a lot of the stalling is fear. Like a lot of it is, oh, what if nobody reads my book? Or what
Mm,
if um I don't end up having the means to complete what I've started? And what I've found is by starting step one, whether that's writing or finding an illustrator,
mm,
there are people that will help you along the way.
uh-huh,
So just making yourself vulnerable, putting yourself out there and committing to doing the steps, people will help you on your journey. Like when
yeah.
I put out my first book, um, I remember I was at a church and someone was like, "Oh, I told this story about you. Maybe you want to follow up with
Oh,
them and call them and make sure." But they said that they would put your book in their store.
yeah.
And so many people like that were like, "Oh, I talked to such," and I'm just like, "You don't even know me. Like you don't you know me from seeing me, but you don't,
Yeah.
you've never sat down and had a conversation with
Yeah.
me, and yet you're promoting my books."
Yeah.
So I feel like, that's the thing. It's not, oh, let me have the most perfect book. Let me
Yeah.
have something that is perfect in the sight of people. It's no, just put it out and
Hmm.
people will feel how they need to feel about it. Some people won't like it, some people will love it, and
Yeah.
you'll have all the people in between. But at the end of the day, if you don't put it out, we can't know. Like
Right.
nobody can know,
Right.
nobody can know what it could have been or what it would have been had you put it out. So I would say just, commit to the steps, don't give up
Uh-huh.
and understand that it's not just you on the journey. Like God put us here with people because he knew that we needed each other. So
Yeah.
don't think that it's all on your shoulders. Understand that when you put something out, there's going to be a community of people that you don't even know that are
Uh-huh.
going to help you be
Yeah.
successful.
No, that's beautiful. So, what's your long-term vision for Rocky Reed LLC and for the children who grow up reading your books?
Um, my long-term vision, like I said, it's developing the character so that she can go to schools.
Yeah.
It is developing an interactive platform,
Uh-huh.
and I want that to be like a website as well as an app. And then my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And because I don't know like what's happening in regard to television, because I'm like, some of the channels seem like they're just going out. Like TV is not what it used to be.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know if I would want to be on a platform like Netflix or be on
Mm,
ABC or NBC Universal. Like, I don't know
yeah.
that I would want to do that or create my own platform. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess it all depends, but I definitely see like growth in just beyond books. Like the I want kids to be able to pass my books down to
Yeah.
generations and also pass um my TV channel and all of that. Like I'm like I want generation to
Yeah.
generation, just like with Bernstein Bears and Dr. Seuss, how
Hmm.
I don't know what generation we were from, from receiving the book, but I'm like it lasts from like people just keep passing the book down. So that's what I want ultimately for
Yeah.
my children's books.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So what kind of world do you hope that we can leave for future generations?
Hope that people can just learn that the answer is love. Like if we just focused on loving each other,
Yeah.
um, and just building together and understood that we're not, siloed, we're not on an island, like it's not just us by ourselves. We have to live here with other people. So
Hmm.
it behooves us to get along and share and be okay with having different opinions.
Yeah.
And still coming together for the greater good. I feel like right now the world feels a bit chaotic, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean we can't get back to loving each other or we can't
Right.
get back to creating just something greater than what previous generations had. So
Hmm.
ultimately, that's what I want to leave, like love, like
Yeah.
just love each other. That's it. Like even if you
Yeah.
have different opinions, even if this person likes butter toast and you don't, like it doesn't matter. Like we're all here
Yeah.
with our differences and we can still get along. Like we can be okay with our differences and
Yeah.
still come together and love each other.
No, that's really cool. And actually, with that, what you were saying, that's like a common theme that I see with like that threads the podcast episodes I've done together too. Like people just want more love and just
Yeah.
recognition of like our humanity. Whereas like I feel like there's this like narrative out in media sometimes, like, oh, the social justice warriors, they're like rioters, or they're like just they paint us as being like so hateful and like, yeah,
Right.
just we hate like, like things and bring down the
Right.
system and stuff. It's like I think to a certain extent I do feel that way too, because I feel like we need to rebuild things that aren't working. But I feel like no, just like this picture, I think even with the term like social justice warrior, whereas I felt like that used to be more like a empowering term, now it's turned into something negative. But it's just like
Right.
no,
Like,
everyone I've had so far is like just talked about like connection and love and everything
yeah.
though, which I think is really beautiful.
Oh, I love that. I'm like, that's what we need, right?
Yeah.
Especially right now. I'm just like, it's all
Yeah.
so much division when it's easier to get along than it is to be divisive. Like it's
Yeah. No,
easier
I
for
think so too.
us to just collectively get along.
Yeah, no, I agree with you too. And I don't know why there's just that division with people, or like why we find ways to like be different from each other. Like you were even saying, like, food preferences. Like, it just
Right. It's
feels like
like,
there's always ways that like people just want to be in disagreement with each other.
right. And I'm like, there's no right or wrong way to do certain things. Like it's just the way you do it, the way you were
Yeah.
raised to do it. And when you think about it, it's like most people were raised to survive
Uh-huh.
their conditions, whatever they were. So if
Yeah.
you're raised in a completely different country or you're raised in a completely different part of this country, things
Hmm.
were different. Like you had
Yeah.
to battle tornadoes or gators or whatever. I didn't. So my
Right.
naturally, the things that I do are going to be different.
Yeah.
Like, that
Yeah.
just makes sense. Or your culture is um Native American and my culture is Black. So obviously you're going to do things differently and that's
Right.
okay because it
Right.
worked. It worked. Like, so what are we disagreeing about?
Yeah. No,
Very
I love that.
odd.
So, if listeners could take one small action to help make sure that every child feels seen and valued in books, what would you want it to be?
Um, I would say more thinking outside of the box. So more instead of just picking up anything and giving your child anything, being very conscious with what you place in your child's hands and what you
Hmm.
want them to know and how you want them to grow. So being more aware, like, because, especially with this phone and all the things tech, I do feel
Yeah.
like as a society, we're a little more mindless about things. Like sometimes we're
Hmm.
scrolling and we don't even know what we're like. We're just
Yeah.
taking our mind off of the day, or we're like, oh, this is normal. I scroll
Uh,
every day, so this is what I'm doing. So I would say just being more mindful about um, what we do, how we do it, how we're moving, what we want to leave our children, what we're putting in their face, what we're showing them every day, whether that's, oh, no, go play on this technology.
yeah.
Don't like, no, you should be also saying you need to pick up this book and read for an
Yeah.
hour. You're doing too much technology. Like this is too much technology. We need you to
Yeah.
actually physically go outside and play with kids. Like
No.
not just kids on the computer,
Yeah.
not watching kids unwrap gifts on YouTube. Like we need
No.
you to actually
Yeah. No,
like,
I have a 10-year-old daughter and the stuff she consumes, I actually talked to her. I was like, you have to start watching more because it's not inappropriate things that she watches, but it's more just I I just don't see any, you know, quality content. I tell her you gotta watch things that make your brain stronger.
right.
Yeah, just some of the things she watches. And I just wonder like how some things go viral. I think she watches people play with slime and it like it's like
Right.
millions of views.
Like you do know you could be playing with the slime. You could do it yourself.
Yeah, right.
This is not anything amazing.
Yeah, no, that's why I hope that things get better for our younger generations too, because I feel like with technology, it's teaching them to have such short attention spans too. So I'm wondering
Yes,
if they're able to read like a whole book.
right.
Yeah.
And I get it's easier to satiate, a children's whatever by giving them a device or something to keep
Hmm.
them occupied, but it's like that's not going to help them in the long run when they have to interact with people.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
like they need real life experience. Like they really have to go and try to make friends and not just at school
Yeah.
because that's a limited like it's just a limited time frame. It's like no, outside of
Mhm.
school they also need to know they need to try to connect with people
Yeah.
and like learn each other's differences and I'm like this is going to be a weird generation. They're going to be in the house a lot like just
Yeah.
on devices.
Well, it was really wonderful talking with you today, and thank you for your time. But lastly, before we wrap up, how can people find you if they want to connect with you?
You can find me on uh Instagram at
Hmm.
whatever she fancies. Um,
Hmm.
so it's spelled out. Um, whatever she fancies. And I also have a YouTube channel, whatever she fancies, and Rocki Reed as well. So ROCKIREED.
Hmm.
So I'm starting that. And then I also have a website, www.rockireed.com. So www.rockireed.com.
Hmm.
You can find my children's books on Amazon if you type in Janae Washington. That's
Hmm.
Janae Washington. And all of my children's books will come up on Amazon. Or if you type it in a Google search, they'll come up on other platforms as well.
Okay.
Um, and my email is Janae Washington at ymail.com. So if you want to
Hmm.
email me anything, let me know. Or you can email Rocki Reed at Yahoo. So ROCKIREED at yahoo.com.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you again for your time. I had such a great time talking with you, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I had a good time too.
I
Thank you,
know it's so
Denise.
fun.
Have a good day.
You
Bye.
too. Thank you for being here and tuning in to Voices That Propel Us, stories of justice, action, and community. Your presence in this movement matters. If today's conversation moved you, share it, talk about it, and keep the work going. Together, we're not just imagining change, we're making it. Until next time, stay bold, stay grounded, and stay in the fight.
Every time I feel so mad and sad and bad, I say to myself, relax, lean back, it's a brand new day. And every time I feel so down that a frown is all that's on my face, I remind myself to take a breath, it's a brand new